Have you ever wondered what happens if you remove a cartridge from the Nintendo Switch while the game is playing? Nah, it doesn't explode, but the game is going to tell you to always close the software before you actually remove the cartridge. But have you ever wondered what would happen if we do this experiment, but on every single Nintendo console I own? And yes, this also includes the portable ones. First off, we have the NES, and I always thought you had to push the cartridge down for the games to work, but as you can see, if I push it back up, it kinda messes up with the graphics a bit, but everything works fine. Alright, that's cool. Okay Mario, now it's time for you to probably die because I'm about to remove the cartridge from the console. And yup, it turns black. And red? And statics? Oh boy, I guess the NES really didn't like that. Alright, next up is the Super Nintendo, and this console has an eject button. So yeah, let's just tap it and... okay. Well, that's kind of weird. The game still works, but as you can see, I lost part of the top menu in Mario RPG. Okay, sure. Alright, let's go all the way now and just push it. And, okay, well, the results speak for themselves, but they're pretty boring. The game just vanishes, and there's nothing left to do. So, yeah, let's move on. Alright, the N64 is the next on this list of amazing experiment, and this one is actually quite interesting. I'm using Super Mario 64 right now, and I guess let's just pull on the cartridge, and it freezes. Okay, nothing shuts down, we can still see the image, but nothing is working. And have you noticed that Mario looks kind of dead? Oh my gosh, is he okay? This is so spooky! Well, actually, it is not that spooky. This actually happens because of what is called cartridge tilting. Basically, if you take a couple fingers and you slowly pull on one side of the cartridge, well, some weird things start to happen. And in the case of Mario 64, well, Mario looks like this. Oh, and also the sound in the music is completely broken and very cursed. Man, this almost feels like something out of a scary movie. I don't like it. Okay, I'm shutting this down. This is way too scary, and I don't want to summon any demons in my house. Goodbye, cartridges. Hello, mini CDs. It's time for the GameCube, and this one might be different. I'm using Super Mario Sunshine right now, and I'm just hanging out in Delfino Plaza, but let's hit the open button, and oh, well, an error message. Okay. Well, this is more sophisticated than everything we've seen so far, and it is a bit boring. But what isn't boring is the fact that if you shut down the cover, well, the game resumes as if nothing ever happened. This is actually pretty cool. But you know what? I'm gonna try this with another game. One game that I heard was a bit special. It's The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. And as you can see, I'm playing the game, and bada beam bada boom. No more CD is inside of the GameCube, and yet I can still play the game, check out the menus, but once I reach a loading zone, well, I have to insert the CD. Duh, it makes sense. It's still quite interesting that you can play part of the game without having the CD inside of the console. I don't have the game, so I cannot show you, but apparently Animal Crossing can be completely played without the CD. Like, the game is so small, it is actually stored in the RAM of the GameCube, and once it has been loaded in after the Nintendo logo, you can just remove the CD and play forever. That's actually pretty cool. Alright, now we're checking out the Wii, and I guess we'll just boot up Mario Party or something. Alright, let's hit the eject button, and oh yay, another error message. Okay, this is kind of expected. But the thing is, the Wii can also run GameCube games. So you know what, I have my copy of The Wind Waker, and let's see if it actually does the exact same result as the GameCube. Let's push eject, and there we go. We have the CD, and we can still play the game. This is actually a perfect recreation of the GameCube. Everything works the same. I love it. But what about the Wii U? Is it gonna be different? Let's find out by playing Hyrule Warriors, one of my favorite games ever. But let's push the eject button now. Ooh, oh fancy. Instead of using a different error message like the GameCube and the Wii did, we're seeing a system message sent by the Wii U console. Okay, that's actually cool. And you know what? I was just curious to see What if we put Wind Waker HD in the Wii U and we remove the CD? Is it gonna act like the GameCube version, allowing us to keep playing the game? It does! Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this game is truly magical! I freaking love it! Now, if you're wondering what happens if we run the Wii U in Wii mode and we eject one of those classic Wii games like Donkey Kong Country Returns, well, we just got the classic error message. Okay, nothing crazy. So here's the thing, I don't have the classic fat Game Boy, but I have the Game Boy Pocket. So this will do. I'm using Pokemon right now because it's a good game, and let's play it. Actually, let's not play it. Let's remove the cartridge and... oh, well, there's nothing on screen anymore. It just shuts down the Game Boy. Well, that was kind of boring. The Game Boy Color is next. And will this one just shut down like its predecessor? Well, to know that, I decided to boot up a classic Pokemon Crystal. And apparently I lost my game. Oh, well, I guess that happens with old games. Anyways, let's pull on the cartridge and... oh, wait. Oh my gosh, it actually resets. That's different. This time around, everything goes blank, but then all of a sudden, the Game Boy logo appears. But it's in a weird glitchy state, and there's nothing we can do except turn it on and off again. Oh well. Time for the Game Boy Advance. And hopefully this one will also act different, because the Game Boys are pretty interesting so far. Alright, let's boot up Donkey Kong Country, one of my favorite games. And... oh, okay. It kinda does what the N64 was doing, as it just freezes on the frame you were. But listen to the sound this thing makes. Yup, this is definitely not normal. I did it a second time and the results were pretty similar, but the sound was even weirder. Okay, you know what? I'm starting to have a lot of fun doing that. Hopefully nothing will break after me doing that. Like, I didn't check if that was actually dangerous before actually making the video. Oh. The GBA can also play classic Game Boy games. So let's put my trusty Donkey Kong Land cartridge in it. And let's just pull. Oh, okay, we're back to the main menu? Huh, that's odd. What happens if I put the cartridge back in? It just reboots? Yeah, it just restarts the game and we can keep on playing without even having to reboot the freaking console. Next up is the Game Boy Advance SP, and let's see if this one acts exactly like the original GBA. Let's try DKC2 and let's remove the cartridge. Yup, it freezes and produces weird sounds. Okay, it's the exact same result. And if we use a classic Game Boy cartridge instead and pull on it, well, it will just freeze and nothing will happen. But look at that, if we put the cartridge back in, it just reboots and we can resume on playing the game. Well, of course, after resetting back to the title screen. But yeah, it just loads it back. Huh, that's neat. Let's conclude the Game Boy family by checking out the Game Boy Micro. And oh boy, is this thing tiny. Alright, let's put Donkey Kong Country 3 inside of it, and let's pull on the cartridge, and oh my goodness. Whoa, okay, these sounds are insane. I mean, let's be honest, it's the same results as both the other GBAs, but this one is so loud and scary. Get it out of here! Alright, it's time for the Nintendo DS, and I decided to go with Super Mario 64 DS, and yeah, if you take out the cartridge, everything freezes and there's literally nothing you can do. As the Nintendo DS can also play GBA games, well, I had to test it, and after removing the cartridge, the screen turns white. And yeah, it's pretty much frozen at that point. We have to reset the console. As the DS Lite is pretty much the same thing as the Nintendo DS but with a few upgrades here and there, well, the results are exactly the same. I experienced a slight difference with the GBA games though, as instead of just turning white, the screen instead froze there. Okay, that's cool. So the DSi is a bit more advanced because now you can actually remove and put the cartridge back in the menu and it won't freeze the entire system over. But what about the games though? What is it gonna do? Oh, well, it looks like it just freezes. Okay, well, that was a bit anticlimactic. The DSi XL is just a bigger version of the DSi, so the results are exactly the same. But what about the 3DS? Is it any different? Well, let's remove the cartridge and... Oh, that's cute. We now have a beautiful message telling us to push the home button to return to the home menu. And if we're trying this with an original DS cartridge, well, the screen will either freeze or go black. And then we can just push the home menu and push A to reboot the console. Well, okay, that's a nice way of handling it. And the truth is, it doesn't matter if it's a 3DS, 3DS XL, 2DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS, they all act the same. So yeah, I'm not gonna show you all of them, just assume they all do the same thing. Well, there you go, the experiment is over. We did it on every single console and handheld I own. Did you enjoy it? Yes? Well then tap here for more experiments. They're pretty cool, but remember, put some safety glasses on!